Ladies and gentlemen, there they are. They're back, the victory horns. And they sound for Alexander Volkanovski, who dominates Diego Lopes in the rematch. I scored it 50-45. One of the judges scored it 50-45. Two other judges scored it 49-46. And Alexander Volkanovski is still the UFC featherweight champion of the world, as we welcome you to the not watch party. I'm telling you, I got a graphic for this. There it is right there. The UFC 325 post-fight show here at MMAfighting.com. I'm Mike Heck. That is Jed Meshew. We are back at it following the watch party, which, you know, look, we had fun. Fun was had at times. Was it as fun?
We did have fun.
Was it as fun and memorable as UFC 324? Not really, but in the end, Alexander Volkanovski gets it done. It was more dominant this time around than the first fight was. But Volk did it, and Diego Lopes went in there and fought and had a smile on his face and came in with a more positive attitude, I guess. I guess he enjoyed the moment more. That was one of the big goals for him. But now that we've had a few minutes to digest what we saw, what is the biggest takeaway for you when it comes to this main event? Was it more on the Alexander Volkanovski side? Was it more on the Diego Lopes side? Or is it more on the UFC side of why did we do this?
I mean, it's that. And I don't want to be that negative because in general, people don't want us to be negative, right? But my overwhelming sense midway through the title fight and a little bit leading up to it, like a little bit, I was trying to be optimistic, but it was just like, it's not meaningless because title fights are never meaningless. It was pretty, like, this is in the scale of meaning, much closer to the meaningless portion of the thing. Like, we didn't learn anything. Diego Lopes obviously didn't deserve this in any respect. And he fought less interest. Like, the one selling point to the fight was, well, it's going to be fun. It's Diego Lopes fight. It's going to be super fun. Because their first fight was really fun. I think Volk mainly beat the shit out of him, but there were moments enough to make it a fun fight. This didn't even really have that. Like, Volk just kind of cruised. He mostly was in like third gear all night. There were a couple of times where he would ratchet it up and had some big moments and then just sort of dialed back and just was never in real danger. Diego didn't seem interested in like forcing the issue much. And so this is the most frustrating way this fight could have gone. And really makes it look like even worse than the matchmaking itself looked.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. Like, because, I mean, look, the announcement of this fight set off such like a weird, wacky chain of events for like me personally, because I hated this matchmaking. I made it very, very clear. I hated this. I didn't just dislike it. I hated it. It made absolutely no sense. The fight just happened less than a year ago. Volk just beat him, had not fought anybody else, and they were going right back to this fight. And the biggest reason why I didn't like it, and I understand why Diego Lopes got this opportunity. And as much as his manager at a time, and we're obviously better now, was upset with me, I got it. Like, I got why he got the fight. Because the main reason was there was a little bit of frustration with the UFC matchmakers because apparently John Silva was offered to a lot of dudes in that division. A lot of dudes in that division said no. They asked Diego Lopes without hesitation. He said yes. Took the fight, and they basically told him, like, look, man, you take this fight, you go in there, you have a good performance, like you're back in the title conversation. They didn't expect him to just be next, and then he went out there and had a fight of the year contender and finished John Silva. And then they thrust him into a title fight. Like, again, there's no blame to Diego. There's no blame to his team. What are you supposed to say? No? Lerone and Movzar deserve it more than I? Of course not. But I hated the matchmaking, and the biggest reason why is because Diego Lopes is so over. After the John Silva win, You just throw him back into a title fight with a guy who dominated him, like had moments when Volk made a couple of mistakes. Yeah, he stung him a couple of times, but for the most part, like Volk won that fight pretty cleanly. And then we're going to do this again. And like my biggest fear was like Volk was going to make it look even easier and do it by a more widespread margin. And he did that and then some. And now like, is Diego just like fun fighter territory? Because I feel like putting him in this position now and having him fight Volkanovski twice in a 10-month span, like it was a big risk on the Lopes team. Is it not? Like, I feel like he's in such a tough spot at this point.
Fine.
Like, I don't.
He's
Fine
because Volk's not going to be there forever.
True or false, he fights for a UFC title again.
True. He's fine. That's the thing, like, why this is sort of stupid, too, is, like, if he loses, he's going to fight again, and that one will probably be the make or break. But, like, Volk's not a young man. Volk himself was like, I would like to defend the belt one more time, and then I'd like to go up to lightweight and try that again. Volk is out of this division by next year, which means Lopes is fine, right? Like, if Jean Silva gets the title fight and wins it, like, he's obviously right there. So he doesn't really lose much by losing this. He would have gained, obviously, a lot by winning. I honest to God, don't know what Volk gained. I wish that if he was going to win this fight, he would have finished him, because that at least would feel like something more substantive for me to be like, great. But this was just the same fight they had 10 months ago. Like we just did that again. And I don't know why this happened. Like, nothing happened here. And it's frustrating. It was a frustrating experience watching this.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll be fine, but like he's going to have some work to do, man. And like, look, he can't just keep fighting John Silva over and over again. He's going to have to fight Lerone or Movsar or guys like that who, I mean,
fight Yair.
Yeah, he can fight Yair.
Wait.
That's insane. Shit. I mean, it worked out for him once before.
It might work, man.
But you can't go back. You can't go back to Volk. You can't do a Volk fight again. You just can't.
No, but again, Volk's not going to be there. Volk is gone, and Volk will no longer have this belt by October, because he's going to fight once more, and he'll either lose it in the next fight, or when he wins, he's like, I'm done. I'm gonna take my talents to lightweight for one final run up there. By October, this belt will be empty, and he can fight for it if he gets one more win. So, which is frustrating and kind of silly, but that's sort of the UFC we're in these days.
Who would you matchmake Diego Lopes with?
Yair, 100%. You do the Yair fight. That fight's been there forever. You do and then if you do that,
Yair's not the easiest. Yair's not the easiest guy.
He might lose the Yair fight. Yeah, and that's sure, but you book that fight and you hope it happens. And then also they won't do Volk Yair in 2, which they tried to do last year. Shit, they might still try to do again. You book those two dudes. Volk fights the winner of the rumored Mobsar versus Murphy fight, and we see where everything has fallen out after there. Maybe shouldn't happen, but maybe Jean Silva sneaks in instead if the timelines work right.
Where does Aljamain Sterling fit in all this?
I completely forgot that he exists. Aljamain Sterling should fight Jean Silva.
That's 100% the fight I would make. Yeah, that's absolutely the fight I would make. Let Movsar and Lerone fight. Why has that fight not been announced? That's what I mean. Why are we not? They haven't announced anything for that card, like anything of significance. I don't understand. We're less than 2 months away.
Don't have a clue. I don't know what the UFC is doing with anything anymore, Mike.
Yeah,
they're constantly confusing me. I got nothing, but I hope that they at least know they're fighting each other. Probably.
Maybe Lerone's. I mean, I've tried. Like, Lerone's team is usually pretty good at like confirming stuff with me. They have said nothing about this. The first time I asked about it, when the reports started coming out, they were like, not really accurate. But that fight makes all the sense in the world for London. So I truly don't understand why we have not had anything announced for this card. You have to assume at some point we're going to get a Dana announcement, Like an IG thing where he announces a couple main events? Like, you have to think so, right?
Probably this week, because now like this week's now we're after the fight night now, or the pay-per-view, so now we're on to the Apex. They don't really care about that, so we can do some announcements this week would be my guess. He's not in Australia, I'm pretty sure, so he won't be doing like them.
Oh no, he's in Vegas because they get Zupa boxing tomorrow.
Yeah, so maybe it's even there, like maybe tomorrow he does it, but maybe it's just, I suspect this week we'll get the London main event, because it's 6 weeks away, man. It's like right around the corner.
How would you grade UFC 325 as a whole?
That's a good question. On what scale? Give me a scale to use.
Whatever scale you want. Because
a scale of 1 to 10.
And I guess we
6.
Yeah, I guess that maybe there's like a touch of a curve here. One of the big discussions I was having on Twitter, I'm sure you saw the spin and back fist post that garnered a lot of attention of, well, we haven't had UFC in 6 weeks.
That was very silly.
And people are saying this is ass. I'm like, and my response is like, I don't think people are saying this is ass. I was like, the main card's pretty fun. I was like, obviously the prelims aren't as good as last week's was, and the card quality isn't as strong.
The prelims on paper were kind of ass.
Yeah. But of course, the people's main event, Torres Finney and Jacob Malkoun, like, what are we talking about here? That was like the fight of all fights. It was a title fight, for God's sakes.
That fight was stressful and kind of fun. So yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. But this is, and what I'm informing people of at this point is they're like, well, we deserve better. I'm like, well, where were you when Jed and I were towing this line 5 years ago when we were asking for better quality cards? And now, like, I'm past all of this. Like, I'm past it all. I'm still going to tell truth. Like, if something's truly deplorable on paper, like, I'm going to say it. But for the most part, I'm just going to find positives and stuff, because for the next 7 years, outside of the White House cards and like an even numbered event like UFC 350 or UFC 400, or if they go to Miami, like, this is what we're getting. Like, this is the quality of card we're going to get for the most part. Is there going to be a card that's going to be a notch higher, maybe a notch lower? Absolutely. But the days of just getting like super stacked top 10 fights fucking slap cards are over. Like, they're just over. So I see a lot of C's, some C minuses. You gave it a 6 out of 10, which is a D, right?
I believe that's correct. I haven't been in school in a while, but that sounds right to me.
Yeah, a 60 is like a D minus, like barely passing.
Yeah, that feels right, man. The prelims were pretty tough hang for a lot of it. There were some spots of brightness in this. The main event, like, objectively, like, if you pull everything away, it's a fine fight. It's not one that I think anyone will go back and watch again. Also, why is that the graphic you're putting up? That's so stupid. UFC. They're doing a Volk interview, and the graphic is 125 of his last 28 fights. Like, there are a lot of other better graphics you could put up for Volk than that one, which is also like meaningless because like that is just saying since he lost his first fight, he's gone 25-3, which is like a very stupid thing to do. It's just an idiotic graphic.
I mean, 25 of 28 just sounds.
It's just really like you do any number of things. You could put the somewhat erroneous thing that he is the most most title wins in featherweight history or whatever. Like, that's a better graphic than that. Yeah, man. Like, what are we going to be talking about tomorrow from this? Right? Like, that's always sort of the big thing. Like, what's the big storyline coming out of this is,
God, that's a good
question. Why did that happen? Like, why did that happen? You know? It didn't have a lot of juice, and it didn't deliver with whatever juice it could have had. It's not bad. Some of the fights were good, but it's just, I think this is going to, at the end of 2026, this will probably be one of the more forgettable pay-per-views of the year, is my guess.
Yeah. I think it's kind of going to go down that way. I guess my biggest takeaway is, like, Australia deserves better. Like, they've got 2 tough cards back to back, man. Like,
at least this one, it's Volk main event. and the crowd seemed banging on it. Though Australia's paying a lot of money to have a card at noon or whatever time it is.
Yeah, 9 a.m. I believe is when the prelim
Yeah,
started.
that feels like that's trash for them.
312, you got 2 title fights. Neither were competitive, and the rest of the card was just not good. Not great. I think what I will remember, honestly, the most, Jed, is Big Baby. Big Baby in the
I
hair.
mean, 100%. That is like when I
The,
think of today, I'll be like, I remember watching 325 because we spent like 10 minutes talking about Big Baby getting his top blown off.
I mean, just the greatest
This is
screen grab.
incredible. That's photo of the year right there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, nothing's topping that. Nothing's
It's so
topping that.
good.
That's what I remember from the watch party is like the 10 minutes we spent just going back and forth on those screen grabs.
That was pretty fun. The look, do we think it's going to happen, Mike? Do we think Taliesin versus Ty is going to get the fight of the night?
Dude, it should. It should.
We had fun with that. I don't know if anybody else had fun with that. We had a great time watching that fight.
We have not gotten bonuses yet. Yeah, that was.
Did not.
I mean, that was. It wasn't as much fun as Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez, but it was pretty damn close. Only because we're on like opposite ends of the spectrum, and it would have been absolutely filthy hilarious if Tai Tuivasa somehow found a way to dig deep and snap the 5-fight skid.
Dude,
C-.
I mean, there were moments where it looked like that was happening. So,
Yeah.
but we'll talk more about that coming up, I'm sure.
C- for me is what I will grade it. And the only reason this is a C- is honestly because of how much fun I had watching Tai Tuivasa Taliesin Teixeira. Was not a technical masterpiece, but I had a damn good time watching it. Mauricio Rufy rocked. That was an incredible performance.
And that was a good fight too.
That was a very fun fight. That could end up getting fight of the night. Like, that wouldn't shock me. And then Benoit Saint-Denis just running Dan Hooker. But it was a very fun first round. And then BSD just kind of BSD'd all over him. C-. I mean, I think that's fair. Wasn't all terrible. It was just like, I don't think Rufy winning was kind of surprising, but not like an overall shock. But everything else was kind of like, we kind of expected the outcomes to be what they were. So there's no like huge surprises. It was just kind of like the card we expected on paper. So now I have to ask you, Jen Meshew, because this is the question everybody wants me to ask. I've got multiple DMs about this.
I think it's the only thing that people are going to talk about because there's nothing else to fucking talk about on this fight card.
Is Alexander Volkanovski officially the greatest featherweight of all time?
I don't think so. Plenty of people thought that before this fight. I'll tell you the thing that it was very frustrating. I mean, a lot of this was frustrating. I've sort of touched on it. If he had really like just blown the doors off Diego, I'd be like, okay, you got a way better case than you had yesterday, right? Instead, he beat the guy that we already knew he could beat in the exact same way that he beat him. Like maybe a little bit better. This is the exact same way. Like, I don't know what to ascribe that to. And so I think if you thought he was the GOAT beforehand, you still think. If you didn't, this didn't change your mind, and I don't think it should have. What I have found interesting, Mike, is because obviously this is a topic that I've talked about a lot. So people immediately come at me with it. I have found it very interesting that people are speaking these two sentences back to back, and they don't see in any incongruity there. Man, what a pointless and stupid fight. We shouldn't have done that, but it proves that he's the GOAT. Okay. I'm not entirely sure how that logic follows. Because like either that fight, the reason that I'm frustrated that he is not, like if he just beat Mobstar, I'd be like, okay, it's totally reasonable. It could just, I cannot argue with the point anymore. Still probably not what I believe is true, but I can't argue it. But he's just beat this dude again, which I already knew he could do because we already saw it. And it is impressive. And I do not under any circumstances want to downplay late career Volkanovski still having success against, top 5 guys. That is the hallmark of a great fighter. I don't know how, if you didn't think he was the GOAT before, you watch that fight and be like, sold, done. It's like I feel exactly the same way I felt yesterday because I learned nothing new about him.
What do you need from him to get over that hump?
I beat another dude. Throw Juicy Jake's count. He's thrown a couple of these up. And again, I think people deeply misunderstand my relationship to Alexander Volkanovski because the hardest thing to do, yes, I am the one who said that, and you're throwing that in my face as if that's a testament. He still isn't at Aldo's numbers, so this argument doesn't do shit for you. Like, it proves that he's over there. And here's I don't need to fight this battle. I've just fought it enough, and I've made my case. If you believe he's the GOAT, I can't convince you otherwise. Like, that's just, and you're not going to convince me that beating Diego Lopes a second time solidified it or whatever. The last point I'll make in my favor is I've had this argument about a lot of people in the last 5 years, and I've been right every fucking time. Because I was making this argument when y'all tried to tell me Max Holloway was the featherweight GOAT. Nobody's trying to fucking do that anymore. I was making this argument when people were trying to say Kamaru Usman's the welterweight GOAT. Nobody's doing that anymore. Like, I was here last year fighting every one of you trying to say Merab's the GOAT, and Petr Yan whoops his ass, and ain't nobody talking about that anymore. Because, like, it's a little different because Volk is just so much further down the line of his career. But I have been on the right side of not prematurely calling GOAT, and y'all just really want to do it. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I can't convince you, and you can't convince me that beating Diego Lopes, again, if he'd blown the doors off him, I might have to be like, shit, man. Okay. It was the same fight. We learned nothing. It's hard to change my opinion because of that. Because yes, it is the most difficult thing to do. He's still 2 behind Aldo. Like, okay.
A lot of people are asking about the hat, Jed. What can you tell us?
My house is freezing because it is. Let me look at the weather right now. It's 18 degrees outside and it feels like 0. And my house is cold because I can't turn my heat on because my heater makes a lot of noise and it is basically directly over this area. So it will just be a oppressive background noise. So I am wearing long sleeves and quite cold.
I got to tell you something. I have on my screen muted the UFC on Paramount post-fight show, and John Gooden is interviewing Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis looks like a gosh darn superstar right now. He's got the sport coat on, one button, white t-shirt underneath.
I'll take the hat off for you boys, just for y'all.
He's got like stylish sunglasses on. He's wearing the Aussie hat too. He looks like a couple of Billy. Shout out to Benoit Saint-Denis, just looking like a friggin' superstar. So good on him.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot because I don't know who he fights next.
Still waiting for bonuses. I'd love to share them with you because there's no Dana. Because why would... I mean, Dana's the one that said if you don't like it, don't watch the event. So why would he be there?
Everybody hates my beanie. My beanie is quite warm and comfortable.
I'm
it's
going
not a
through
fashion statement because I'm not making fashion statements.
I mean, the thing about going onto Twitter right now is I'm seeing scorecards from people, and I'm just absolutely flabbergasted by some of the things that I'm seeing.
Were people giving Lopez multiple rounds? Because that's wrong.
At one point, I saw a couple of people show their ass and say, it's Diego Lopez 29-28 after 3 rounds. I'm just like, what are we talking about here? Good Lord. Let's see. What else do we have? Another super chat while we wait for bonuses. Would Jed think Volk is GOAT featherweight if he beat Ilya?
Yeah, you could maybe be able to find me saying that. I think he would have had a really strong case. I think just beating Ilya, that would have been like his 6th title defense, right? Because he has 5. Now he has 6. I think that's right. I think just beating Ilya, I would have been like, no. But I would have been like, dude, one more and it's a wrap. And that's partly why this is so weird. Because like at least when he lost to Ilya and then came back and beat Diego, there was a parallel with Aldo lost to Connor and then he beat Frankie and got the belt back. But like that's equal, right? That's an equivalent thing. But then Aldo had fought Max and lost in the next one, and so now that's not for Max. It's not the same thing that's happened here, and so it's very hard to know how much to weight this. It's not nothing. Is it? I don't think it's a lot. I don't know. I truly. I've been grappling with this since the fight got booked, because this was like, assuming this was the outcome. It's like, I still don't know what to make of it. I don't know if I'll ever know how to rationalize this victory. It's a very weird one.
It is a very weird one. Still waiting on bonuses. Herman, UFC 325 was fun. Hope y'all stayed safe and warm out there. P.S. I liked your beanie, Jed.
No, thanks. It's right here. It might come back because I'm cold.
Put it on, man.
Mostly my feet are cold, but I got socks on. We'll be all right.
Anything else you want to...
Lucas Skinner, we're not forgetting that Volk beat Aldo because that has little to no bearing on this conversation. I have been incredibly upfront with my belief that Alexander Volkanovski is a better fighter than Jose Aldo. Greatness is not the same thing as better. Greatness is a measure of accomplishment, and I simply believe that Jose Aldo has accomplished more than Volkanovski has in this sport. And I do not believe that beating a dude you just thumped up 10 months ago, that hasn't changed my opinion on that matter.
Bomo said Aldo was washed by the time he fought Volk.
He wasn't washed, and that's like honestly one of the more impressive things that Aldo will probably never get credit for is his post-career. But this isn't a Jose Aldo podcast. This is a more interesting question that I have considered. Duke Mad Dog asking if Volk's higher than Khabib. And I think he is higher than Khabib. But Khabib is also a weirdo. Khabib's career is deeply flawed. But I think Volk, I think Volk is one of the 10 best fighters of all time. One of the 10 greatest, not just best. One of the 10 greatest fighters of all time. I've said that for years at this point. I simply don't think he's accomplished as much as Jose Aldo has.
I mean, Jose, what a run Jose had, man.
Jose Aldo has 11 title wins. Was functionally undefeated for like the same time Volk is. Was the champion of the featherweight division for 7 years. And has 9 title defenses. It's incredible. This is truly incredible shit.
Dude couldn't make a weight at 145. Somehow made bantamweight. Fought for the belt.
Yeah, that's always super weird.
Yeah, fought for the belt. And arguably should have fought for the belt the second time. Actually, not arguably. He absolutely should have fought for the belt the second time. Instead, the UFC did their worst matchmaking in history. They booked a man against Merab Dvalishvili in Salt Lake City for some friggin' reason, while TJ Dillashaw, with one shoulder, got a title shot and fought Aljamain Sterling and got dummied all up in Abu Dhabi. Why do we do that? Just the worst thing I've ever seen. And then Merab won a fight that gained Merab like literally 0 fans. I don't get him.
Still the only man who Merab Dvalishvili has never taken down. What a king. Honestly, it would be sick if Volk had like a post-prime like that in another weight class. I'd rule. But, look, if he keeps winning, at some point, like, it just has to happen. Like, it's just like if he keeps doing it. But it's tough. It's very, very weird. This is technically not correct, by the way.
Mufasa, according to the UFC, outside of the first Max fight, this is Volk's 7th defense at featherweight.
So that's technically true, but also technically false. This is his 6th title defense, successful title defense. He has defended it 7 times. He obviously lost one of those. This was his 8th championship victory in the UFC. So he's got 6 title defenses and 2 title wins, but 6 defenses because one of the 7th one he lost.
Sorry for instigating, says Juicy Jake.
No, because you weren't you were instigating, but you're not the only one. Like every time Volk has fought and people have, because my stance is so very clear and we work with somebody who actively tries to instigate because people like to ruffle me. At this point, it just happens so much. It doesn't really bother me, but it is deeply weird to be like, that fight was useless, but he's the GOAT. If you thought he was the GOAT before and you still think he's the GOAT, fine. That's an okay position. The second Diego Lopes win being the thing that puts you over, I have questions.
Let's just go to the peeps for the rest of the time here.
Do we still not have bonuses? Come on.
No bonuses.
Tell me my big silly boys are getting a fight of the night.
Oh, man.
How are we not? Who's doing it? Is it Shaw?
It is, but I don't think he's gotten up there yet. Apparently, Mauricio Rufy had a terrible fight week in terms of like his health or whatever. And
apparently, Teofimo Lopez is getting cooked.
It's kind of what we expected. Let's see. Let's go and pull some questions.
What were the odds on that? I didn't look at that.
Let's see. Let me pull this down. I'm trying to get. There we go. Now I can see it. Erman, what are your guys' early thoughts on UFC 326? Do you think it has potential to be a better card than tonight was? Oh my God, yeah, it does that better.
When TBD versus TBD matchup, I do want to give this thing one big up, because there was something tonight that I really enjoyed. I thought the difference in pacing from 324 to 325 was very noticeable. And I don't know if that's just, they said at 324, we're trying some things, it'll be different. I don't know if that's just what it was or if they heard the criticism, but that was huge. It was absolutely huge that once it took a little bit to get going, because they did really drag their feet for that first fight. But once we got going, we were rolling, baby. So big ups to them for that.
Yeah, much better. I think we got every walkout on the main card too.
Mm-hmm. Also that big ups.
So well done.
The 326 question.
Yes. Do you think 326 is
we talked about this a little on the watch party. Weird that there's a TBD versus TBD co-main event.
Yep. And it was in the specifically co-main event spot. So do they think they need something to juice this thing up a little bit? What are we thinking here?
I mean, I don't think you need to juice this up because the main event's got a lot of juice. But it never hurt.
Are we chucking Armin Tsarukyan on
this
this card?
We were doing Kyle versus RDR as the co-main, but that apparently is not what's happening. And so,
what was the original co-main?
I thought the original co-main was Kyle RDR.
Oh,
the only fight that has fallen out is Moicano Ortega.
I thought were they going to do Paulo Costa versus Bruno Ferreira as the co-main event? No,
because that's happening. Fight. That's happening somewhere else, isn't it?
No, Paulo's now fighting Azamat Murzakanov.
He's fighting Murzakanov. Yeah.
All right. I know there was something that was originally there that is no longer there. Let's see. What is no? No. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. But it will be significantly better because the main event is much more interesting, and that main event's gonna rule. No matter how it goes, it's gonna be fun as hell.
There's no chance the main event isn't banger. Even though I think Max Holloway is going to probably win that fight convincingly. They're 2 of the 7 most exciting guys who ever stepped in the cage. So that's great. I will say, I just pulled this up. I did not realize that this is a fairly weak card. Main event got the juice. Kyle RDR, I think it's a great fight. Rob Font, Raul Rosas Jr.
Really good.
Some interesting, that's pretty interesting matchmaking. RoboCop Bruno Ferreira should be fun.
Very fun.
I mean, that's also technically a decent fight, but it's just a fun fight. The rest of this is pretty Depends on who they get to replace Brian Ortega. I know Esteban Ribovic has said yes. I don't know if that, if Ribovic versus Moicano happens, that's a really fun fight. But if that falls off, I will say that this has a better main event. It's maybe just like a hair better than 325 on paper.
Should Arman Sarukian just step up and fight Renato Moicano?
I mean,
Just get
UFC
one in, man.
Book it 100%. He should do that.
Go get that fight, man. Just go in there and smush that man. 100%.
He should do that.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think. I'm trying to think. Like, if Ruffy could turn it around, that'd be good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fast turnaround, but if he could do it, I mean, get him good graces. That'd be pretty good.
Lucas, could I also just say it's not simply a numbers game? Volkanovski has fought almost inarguably better competition throughout his championship reign than Jose Aldo.
Yeah, this is where I have the biggest disagreement with most people. I think, I mean, it's inarguably very good. I also disagree with that take. He beat Max Holloway 3 times. That's sensational. I do think beating the same dude over and over again is a little less impressive for me than for other people. But, like, I got to tell you, the rest of the dudes he's beaten, they're all the same dudes. Like, they're the same level of dude, right? Many people either weren't fans since they don't know, but, like, one of our coworkers today, an hour ago, was like, man, that Ricardo Lamas win was really impressive. And I'm like, dude, in 10 years, that Ricardo Lamas win is the exact same win that Volk just got. Like, they're all the same level. Brian Ortega is, I personally think he's awful, so I think he's actually worse than a lot of dudes Jose fought. They both beat Korean Zombie. They both beat Frankie Edgar, right? Volk beat Frankie Edgar. That's one of those, right? Or did he not? I can't remember who he beat at this point. If you look it up. He beat, like, the cornerstone of the argument is Max Holloway is a great fighter and he beat him 3 times. And that argument absolutely carries some real water to it. But I hold that slightly less in esteem than other people do because I think styles make fights. And when you beat a dude once and then beat him twice, you're probably going to beat him a 3rd time. You know? Like, that's just sort of how that goes for me.
We officially have bonuses, Jed.
Interesting.
Performance of the night.
How happy am I?
There's 2 performance of the nights.
Okay. Killins for sure.
Yep.
Who else would get a performance of the night bonus? Ruffy?
Yes.
Okay. Fight of the night I won either way. It's either the main event or it's the heavyweights. They did give it to Volkanovski?
They gave it to Volkanovski. It's kind of a...
It's fine.
Kind of a robbery. Fine. Kind of a robbery. Tai Tuivasa deserved it.
I honestly think BSD Ruffy was more fun, personally, but yeah.
As was Berisha Ruffy, Rafael Fiziev. I mean...
Happy birthday, Lazy Bed. Boom.
Yeah, let's go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lazy Bed. All right, let's keep this going here. Finally got our bonuses. Juicy Jake, how many more does he need? I know we just discussed this, but let's throw the super chat up there for Volk being the GOAT.
Look, I mean, I assume the question is for me.
It is
he at least needs, because other people, we already think it if you do. At least needs 1. Like, I need him to, if Movsar fights Lerone and he beats the winner of that, if he beats John, like if it's John Silva, I mean, I guess maybe if he just totally dummies John Silva, but like, it's just, he lost the belt, so I need him to fight the best dude in the weight class that's not the guy who beat him. And he hasn't done that. So I'll tell you what this fight did, not because it did it for me, but because I am simply exhausted with the battle. If you want to say it, you can say it. I think you're wrong. I don't have the bandwidth to fight you on what I think is pretty clear at this point. If he gets 1 more, I still probably won't. but maybe he will. Like I don't know.
I think if he fights Mozart and wins, and like he gives Mozart his first L, I think that's
I mean
it's
that would
almost
be really
indisputable.
really big. It'd be
Yeah.
really really big.
It's,
So yeah, like that's it.
is Belichick the GOAT? Yeah.
Just fucking question.
Yeah. I mean, are we crazy?
Belichick has a Belichick. I don't know if he is the greatest coach in sports history. Like there are a lot of sports out there. I don't know, John Wooden or whatever. But like he's closer to that being an argument than there being an argument that there's a better NFL head coach than him ever.
Yeah. The fact that he's not getting a Hall of Fame nod is absolutely ridiculous. Like he'll get there, and it's all gonna be for
He'll get
naught.
there
And this
next
is like
year.
some people who think they have like gigantic cojones being like, let me take a
I
stand here because he did
again,
stuff that other teams did for decades and
I
never
think
got
none of you
punished
should.
for it.
I think no Patriots fan should be upset about this. I think that actually Bill Polian gave you a gift because this doesn't in any way diminish Bill Belichick, but it
Oh,
does
he's over.
diminish.
He's now more over. I know.
Yeah, it absolutely diminishes like Tony Dungy and Bill Polian and all those people who did it. So it's
Bill
just
said
like
he voted
actually
for Bill Polian said he voted for Belichick.
no, he didn't. He said I can't remember what I did because he's a liar. It's
I
pretty obvious
I
that he
heard
didn't.
I heard clips saying that he did vote for him.
He the clip is Bill should be in. I don't remember who I voted for. I think I voted for him, which is like you don't remember. Okay, sure. Um, it's very silly, and the only people who come out looking bad are not Patriots. So you should all be banging about that.
And Bill Belichick should. Someone threw this take out. I don't remember who like originated, but Belichick should get in and then just not go. That'd be incredible. He should definitely think about doing that, and
Just
it'd
send
be the
Jordan.
most. Oh God, that. I mean, I would be annoyed to no end, but that would be so funny if he did that. All right.
Yes.
Spencer, hey boys, thought the main card was solid. Happy for Volk getting his moment, but agree with both of your thoughts on the main event. Not needed and was surprised Diego was not more aggressive. Thoughts on Roofy, nasty finish.
Um, Murphy is a strange one for me. I thought and still kind of think he's the worst of the fighting nerds core four, right? Um, but he has really high ceiling, right? Like he is probably as or more violent than any of them. Um, but I mean, like we just saw huge flaws into his game, and even he still like struggled a little early with Fiziev, and just putting pressure in his face, and then he found his window, and good on him. That's a dude who's probably going to fight for the belt. I don't know if he wins it, um, but like, and he's still pretty young. I think he's in his 20s still, so. Uh, I don't feel compelled to rush him, but the UFC seems very interested in having him around because he lost to BSD and he got the guy ranked right behind BSD. So they're giving him some love.
Fire off a couple rapid fire before we get out of here. Joseph Boza, Taiju Voss lost 6 in a row. Is he done?
Probably.
I think they keep him.
I could be convinced.
I think they keep him. Would you just please throw
Him versus Derek Lewis at the White House
a little rematch? I don't hate it.
could do
Stop.
worse.
Stop throwing him in there with anybody who will try to grapple with him. Like find a guy in this division who has like no grappling at all.
I mean, he had some moments like he could have beaten Dallison. It looked like that could be real.
Question: will we get more cards like this ahead of the White House?
Yeah, probably. Maybe even worse, honestly. This was not a card like this was a card like that because we just put all the Anzac fighters on it, and they're like a couple of good ones, and so it just sort of is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the card quality in May and April is going to be pretty low if they're stacking White House like they say they're stacked, especially if they're doing title fights like they say they're doing at White House. I still don't think that's going to be the case, but if it is, I mean, the May card quality is going to be quite poor.
I just don't know if they go to Miami with a Garbo card.
I
They
think
love
I
going
think they'll
there.
have one okay one, but
Yeah.
everything else. And honestly, where you're going to notice it more is the Apex. Like the Apex shows are going to be just rancid, um, because they're going to rob any talent that would go on the Apex, and that's going to fill other things.
Agreed. Let's see if we had anything else.
Daniel, what was your idea? Miami doesn't have a main event because London doesn't have a main event.
Well, you have to assume that some sort of light heavyweight title will be on the line in Miami,
It's
whether
true.
it's Pereira versus Ulberg, which I would rather see Pereira just vacate, go to heavyweight, and we just do Ulberg
Yeah.
versus Yuri for the vacant belt. I think that goes over much better. So I would do that, but I would assume that we're defending the light heavyweight belt on that card. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Uh, Miami's April, right? Or is that May?
That's April.
Doesn't seem like Piotr Jan can fight in April.
Yeah,
So
Jan's
maybe
gonna be out
Piotr.
till summer, at
I say
least.
maybe Piotr's maybe May, but that seems ambitious. Maybe they just throw an interim title fight, which would be insane. But UFC's wilding out these days.
With bantamweight,
Um,
who would you do?
yeah.
Sean O'Malley versus Corey
No,
Sandhagen?
you do Umar versus Marab too.
No, really?
If you're gonna do an interim belt, that seems like the one.
I mean,
Because you can't do. I mean, unless you did Sean versus Umar and just really screwed Marab over. But I don't think you do that. So it's yeah. I mean, it's tough. I don't know. I think the light heavyweight's in play. I think an interim heavyweight belt is very much in play. Women's flyweight is obviously there for the taking. Zhang versus Dern ostensibly will happen sometime in these next few months.
oh my gosh, I can't wait for that fight.
Mackenzie Dern, baby, let's go.
Is this your Juliana Pena
Um,
part 2?
I'm gonna try and speak it into existence. Is what I'm gonna try and do. I picked her officially in my champs predict. I was the only reason we didn't have a single unanimous choice for champion because I picked Dern at women's strawweight. That would have been our only weight class where everybody on staff agreed.
One more super chat and then we'll get out of here from Spencer. Jed wants you to
Spence,
know, I agree. I still have Jose as featherweight GOAT, but close. And if Alex gets one legit title defense more, I'll have them tied, and 2 more he passes. Is Volk close to turning the pound for pound pantheon of 6 to 7 for you guys?
I have 2 more. I can't argue the point if he gets 2 more. That's I even if those 2 more are like fucking John Silva and Aljo, it's still just like, okay, man, sure. If one more is Mopsar or if Lauren beats Mopsar, he has a really compelling case at that point. It'll just kind of it'll have to see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I've been thinking about the Pantheon a lot lately. I don't think he does yet, but like it's pretty tough. There are a lot of dudes sort of really trying to crack that. My issue is the people in my pantheon of 6. I believe I think you can make a credible argument for any of those 6 to be considered the greatest fighter of all time, and I don't think you could do that with Volk yet. But if he passes Aldo, then he doesn't change the pantheon. He just sort of takes the Aldo spot in the pantheon. And like I thought Merab was getting close to getting into that pantheon. He's not. Technically, the pantheon is actually what said 8 people because you have Nunes and Shevchenko are in the pantheon for sure too. But like it's Islam and Tapuria are the best bets right now to crack into the pantheon. But folks, possible. He's in the mix.
And we will leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. From Juicy
Volk.
Jake, Volk, Jed, Mike Heck, Timmy Brady, all goats. Love you guys. Great website.
Timmy Brady is the GOAT.
It is a great website. A terrific website. The best website, dare I say. But thank you guys very much. We are not done talking about this event. I don't think we're going to talk about this like way too much more. But AK and I will do some matchmaking. On to the next one, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning on this here YouTube channel, because I'm going to be stuck in the house for the next day, no matter what, because we ain't going anywhere. It's going to be the frozen tundra outside here in South Carolina after the snow. So we'll be stuck in the house for another day.
I'm so excited to turn my heat on.
Yes,
I can't tell
so
you how
you get
excited I am.
to turn your heat on. And we appreciate all of you. It was, we made the best with what the UFC offered us. That's all we could say. And look, we're back at the world's most famous Meta Apex next week. Mario Batista versus Lope Dog. Inside
That fight's
the
really
world.
fun.
That is really
There are a couple of really fun fights on that card. A lot of Garbo, a couple of really fun fights.
Yes. But we thank you so much for joining us. I had a great time, Jed. I really did. So thank you all very much.
Time.
We're playing this song again. We're playing this song again. Bye-bye, everybody.